All right, we are back. It's No Apologies on Beck, your after-hours oasis of sanity. I'm your host, Rick Becker, co-host Lori Hintz, and our special guest remoting in is Bette Grande. Welcome back, Betty. So we're discussing basically educational choice. And I know that you have had a long history of supporting it, both as a legislator, also working with Heartland, and now with Rough Rider Policy Center. Laura, you had a question we were going to follow up with.
I was going to ask you about parents and what they can do and how they can get involved in the situation and kind of try to wrest control back to the primary stakeholders as they should be.
Well, part of that is, that attendance into the school boards, speaking up, working with the teachers that your child's being educated by. Letters to the editor, attend legislative meetings, follow what's going on in the legislature, and listen to and work with legislators that are interested in this type of thing. I think that there's various meetings that are going on, and hopefully we can see that what these parents are asking for, what they need. I was at a private meeting with some parents just a week ago. And I had a set of parents that were just in absolute tears because they were at such a loss. They had 2 children. They wanted them out of the public school. It wasn't going well for them. They felt as though they were having to re-indoctrinate their own children every week. And they had no options other than the public school system. They were stuck with, they couldn't homeschool. They didn't have the means or the time or the ability. They couldn't afford the non-public schools. And we need to be able to work with each and every one of these parents so that we can move them forward in whatever direction we can to help them.
There's just so many different fronts that parents have to confront here too. I mean, parents were calling and all over the country just trying desperately to get their kids back into in-person school. And because they were not allowed in many places, I've heard Michigan was awful trying to get their kids back to in-person learning. Kids have fallen behind. So parents have that added frustration that their children are actually falling behind because of those mandates.
Yeah, absolutely. And, one of the things that's really important is that as passionate as we are as parents when we want to attend a school board meeting or meet with a legislator or something is, remember, you're working off of your emotions. So prior to stepping up, make sure that you have gut checked the emotion and you walk forward with fact. And the calmer you can stay by laying out the facts, the better off and the longer the conversation can go. And
great advice.
Yes, emotions run the day, but we also have to understand that we can't let that rule us. And let's work together in an appropriate fashion, in proper decorum. Mm-hmm. It always lends me back to the thought when we were having discussions on face masks at city council meetings in Fargo, and the BLM group and another group would come in and they would be disruptive. And if they didn't like what you were saying at the podium, they would disrupt you. That's not the type of decorum that gains you any traction. So put your ducks in a row, bring forward your facts and stand your ground.
Excellent. Excellent advice. That is really, really good advice. And I know many, many parents are ready. I think people are ready to get involved with their kids' education finally. The whole pandemic actually allowed parents' eyes to be open and aware of what's going on with the schools so much more. They ended up doing a little bit of a homeschooling on their own. They ended up doing some distance learning and things like that. So parents were finally aware of what it is that the kids are even getting information-wise.
And something that's very interesting to remember is that we as parents gave all of this authority to the schools, and we gave that authority to the government by not standing up all the way through this. We've had over the course of time when I was a legislator, I don't remember how many sessions in a row it would come up. We need full-time kindergarten. We need kindergarten fully funded, full-time kindergarten. Well, then because parents wanted the schools to have their kids all day. Well, now we're having that same debate that we want preschool, preschool, preschool. You're turning your children over to the government every single step of the way. And we've got to stop that and take back your children and take back your parental role.
Yep, absolutely. It's not government's job to raise your children.
That's right.
Government has taken upon itself the job of educating your children, which we then tacitly agree with, but not to raise the children. And yeah, you bring up a great point. Not only that, but this is an opportunity. This moment of COVID and what it's brought about is an opportunity. As you've said, one of the big things to do is to attend the school board meetings and to come with your facts and to check your emotions. So we need to go. We need parents to continue to go. Even though maybe the passion is going to subside, there will be reason to stay involved, and they need to use facts because the facts are on our side. And not only that, Betty, you also pointed out to be involved when it comes to the legislature.
Yes.
And in many legislatures, and now North Dakota especially, we have a great system where you can stay at home and watch the video. You can watch it live, or you can go and watch it when it's convenient for you and see exactly what's going on and what is said and have the opportunity to give testimony. So there has never been a better time than right now for people's voices to be heard at the school board and in the legislature.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we had a bill that was a very minor bill saying that there would be $5 million that parents could apply for grants to put their children in alternative classwork to help them catch up after the COVID. Mm-hmm. And it lost by 3 votes in the House, of which was really surprising in that, you know, people were calling it, well, that's just almost like an ESA. Well, you're letting non-public schools use the money as well. Well, yes, every child fell behind because the government shut down not just the public schools. They shut down the private schools and the tribal schools. Mm-hmm. So all students fell behind. So all students should have an opportunity to get caught up. If your child has fallen behind in reading, you should be able to get a grant for outside help with the reading. If your child is falling behind in math, same thing. And why are we so afraid of letting a parent take some money that has been set aside by education for education and being issued through application at the Department of Public Instruction? And then they still don't want to let them have it.
It's got to be about what's best for the children, not about what's best for the school board or the teachers union. Absolutely. Betty, thank you so much. It was great having you on. Appreciate it very much. Good to see you again.